Garage. So today I wanted to talk about, I didn't even check the lighting, oh great. Today I wanted to talk about, hold on, let me see. Let's see. I think I set it up. Okay. Today I wanted to talk about running shoes. So as you can see, here are my running shoes. Most of them from the past 19 years of running every single day. So I kind of wanted to use this video to go through kind of the running shoes that I started with, what's worked for me, and what I run in now. So let's dive in. All right, so we have this big bag of shoes, and also you don't have to keep your shoes over the years. You can donate them. I believe there's also a company you can send them to, and they grind them down to help like make a track or something. So also a side note, I worked at a running store for quite a few years back in like 2008 to 2011. So I do know quite a bit of about running shoes from over the years, but like these days there's like so many companies out there that have running shoes, and like in some ways I'm a little bit lost with like the new technology, but kind of like the basics, the bare bones. I definitely, I don't want to call myself an expert, but you know, I've you know, been around for quite some time with running shoes. So let's start with, so the very first running shoes I ran in were, let's see if I have the exact, because I remember exactly what they look like, but I don't know if I have the very first ones, so let's see. I used to keep all the boxes. Let's see if these are it. Oh, these might. Okay, so I used to get these at Finish Line. I don't know if Finish Line is still around. They're the Saucony Aura, definitely not around anymore. So these are the first shoes I ran in. Wow, they're super heavy. Look, I have a note. Oh, this is actually the 11th pair of shoes I ran in. So I guess back in the day I used to label them. So I need to find where my other shoes are. So this is number 11, which might indicate maybe 2005, I want to say. Wow. They smell. Actually, it's not like they smell bad. They smell like shoes. Like they're bringing back memories from 2005 of putting these guys on. So the Grid Aura, here we go. Like they're actually super heavy. Around 2010 is when I kind of ran in more minimal shoes. So also, I don't know if you ever look on the bottom of your shoes, but you can kind of see like where you run, you know, where the shoe wears off the most. So these shoes I got in about 300 to 400 miles until I got another pair. So stay tuned. You'll see the shoes that I used to log thousands of miles in. Yeah, so here's the bottom of my shoes. I used to like try to wear them as much as possible, but I guess my left heel always does this. And you can also tell like, so I think I was more of a heel striker back in the day. And if you look at a pair of shoes, there's this thing called the heel to toe ratio. So I'm not sure the exact, what the heel to toe ratio is in this shoe, but if you are a heel striker and you're trying to run more midfoot, try to find a lower heel to toe ratio. So basically look at all this like cushion that's built up in the heel. You want to try to find less cushion in the heel. So this would be kind of more of a minimal running shoe. And I kind of alternated and ran in a pair of Nike Frees back in, I guess that would have been 2010. You know, on easy runs I'd wear Nike Frees. Definitely don't recommend logging a lot of miles. I do not use inserts. You know, I'm definitely more of a minimal gal. So anyway, these are the Grid Auras. Also, you can tell they're a neutral shoe. They don't have this gray foam here. So I don't have any like stability shoes. I'm a neutral gal, and the way you can tell if you need neutral or stability is the way that your foot hits the ground as you walk. So if this is your foot and you have this pronation where your foot slightly rolls in, so if you take a slow motion video of yourself or have someone watch you and they watch the back of your heel and your ankles kind of tend to roll in a little bit, like maybe some stability would be good. This like extra gray foam to kind of keep your foot in line. So that's why it's very important to go to a specialized running store to figure out what kind of shoe is best for you. One time I did run in a stability shoe and it was horrible. I actually developed IT band syndrome and that was one of my worst injuries. That was 2008, lasted a good 3 months. So like never do I run in stability shoes. And okay, so we have the Grid Aura. Like these are super just like clunky shoes. Definitely like cheap. These are on the cheap end because I didn't understand quality running shoes back in the day. I did attempt these are horrible. Yeah, trail, kind of more of a trail version. So this is number 8. This is my 8th pair of running shoes. So this probably maybe 2004, but I remember I didn't log like many miles in these. Oh my gosh, these are so heavy. Like, no, we don't want that. It's too heavy. It's too much. If you're like a heavy runner, I don't know. Like, I just don't believe in heavy shoes. So here's another Grid Aura. Ooh, look at this. So look at my left heel once again. Really worn down the bottom of this. And the right is a little bit. So definitely heel striker. So let's compare. Let's just jump forward to, we'll talk more about these, but it looks like, so this 2017, still worn down on the left side. But definitely I try to get the most miles out of all my shoes. So let's see. Oh, this is number 4. So this is my 4th pair of running shoes I've ever had. So super heavy. These are the same ones, but I used to just get the same ones every time, when I'd see this starting to wear. And also, for all y'all out there, check your running shoes. And, if you see wear like this, it's time to get a new shoe. So I'll also show you the shoes I'm wearing now and what they look like. Okay, so we have a bunch of Grid Auras here. Okay, and then also, what is this? Oh, this is number 1. This might be my first pair of running shoes. So these are interesting. So I guess I started in New Balance. Wow, these are just, once again, super heavy. These are kind of like the shoes that you're like, I guess these will work. I don't know much about shoes, but take a look at the bottom again, and then even look at the backs. I guess I had to put some foam back here to really make the most out of my shoes. So this was 2002, running in these babies. Yeah, so definitely would not run in these ever again. They're so heavy, and New Balance is a great company. But I've learned. I've moved on since. So that's kind of cool. My very first pair of running shoes. Maybe I should get them framed. And, okay, another Grid Aura. Hopefully this video is not very boring, but I guess it's exciting to me. This is my 3rd pair of running shoes. And same thing, wore down the left. Like, look how much I wore down these. So, yeah, like I said, I'd get 300 to 400 miles out of these. And then I do remember, oh yeah, these are the ones that squeaked. My 13th pair. So I remember these were in college. They squeaked when I ran. My friend Sarah, who was my roommate, had the same pair. Also, all these shoes are 8.5. But like, look how much like cushion, like you do not need, or me, I do not need this like extra gel stuff in here. It's just like too much shoe. I don't really believe in the excess shoe, but whatever works for you. So yeah, these squeaked every time I ran. They actually still smell the same, like not dirty feet smell, but like I'm putting on my running shoes to run smell, circa 2005, 6. Okay, so one more Grid Aura. Okay, these are number 5. Just so heavy, and these are the cheaper version of a running shoe. So yeah, in college, I believe it was college, I kind of switched into Asics. Actually, I know for quite some time. Yeah, so all these boxes back here, we don't have to go through all these boxes, but these boxes back here are the ASICS Gel Nimbus, which they still have around. Let me see what version. This is Nimbus 9. I don't know what number they're on now. But these, again, are a neutral shoe, but super cushioned. And, you know, my philosophy, like, I don't need like so much shoe. It's like too much. So these are on like the higher price point, like 130 versus like $100, just because of like the more cushion. So like Brooks Ghost would be a cushioned neutral shoe compared to the Brooks Launch, which is a neutral shoe, like less shoe. You know, maybe if you're a heavier runner, cushion is good. It's just like kind of depends on what you need. Like I'm just a minimal gal. So Gel Nimbus, so ASICS, here they are. I remember I started running in these, not started, but I remember in my first marathon, I was in the ASICS, and ASICS tends to have like a more narrow toe box. So I remember like around mile 12 or 14, my toes would actually start falling asleep. So make sure, you know, I tried to loosen this up, but it was just like too narrow of a toe box for me. Sauconys tend to be a little bit wider in the toe box. The way my feet are designed by God, my heels are pretty narrow, but then I have kind of this wider toe box, or whatever it's called, this wider toe here, but this is narrow. So everyone's feet are designed differently. Also, here's another pro tip. I laced my shoes a little differently so it would be tighter on my heels. So basically, if you see how this lace goes under instead of under this way, like typical lacing, I would turn it and lace it this way. So it would kind of hug the heel more and it wouldn't like slip off the heel. So if you guys have any like Achilles issues or ankle issues, you can tie the laces a little bit differently. Does that make any sense? Or, I mean, it's hard to explain like over video, but see how it goes under? Also, there's a different way, and I use the back. You know, there's like two laces here. You use the back lace. Hello. And okay, I'm going through my shoes, and welcome. Okay, so we talked about the Nimbus. Here's another ASICS Nimbus. So I wore these marathon training. Not a fan of ASICS. It's making sense. Okay. Okay, and then if you want to talk about cross-country spikes, do people still wear cross-country spikes in high school and college? Leave me a comment. I think these were my first cross-country spikes. Nike, just basic spikes. These were my outdoor track shoes. Okay, and then I have this whole box of Sauconys. Ugh, like I would never wear these again. This is just too much shoe. Let me see what this... Okay, let's see. Okay, after this, all these shoes are going in the attic. What's the best brand, somebody asks. So like I said at the beginning, here's the ones that squeaked when I ran, circa 2006. Okay, let me just show you. Ugh, these are just horrible. This is the 18th pair of running shoes that I wore. Gel Nimbus, once again, so I used a lot of Gel Nimbus. Okay, so I don't know if this is very exciting to anybody. Gross. So we're gonna get into the exciting part of this live experience. Anyway, so let me just look at the questions. So what's the best brand? So I think the best brand is a subjective experience. You base a best brand on their ethical practices. Nike, maybe not so much, or Brooks, maybe a little bit better. Do you base the best brand on affordability? Do you base the best brand on what's popular, what's in style? So my personal opinion, and we will get to that, but as you can tell, I started in Saucony, moved into the Asics, like cushion shoe. So let's jump into 2010, where, I was still running marathons, and I actually consulted with somebody that was a coach who shadowed Alberto Salazar. If anybody knows him, he was like the Nike coach. I don't know what he's doing these days. But anyway, there's kind of a philosophy that less shoe is better. So not the whole barefoot thing like the Born to Run book, but I just felt like the shoes I was wearing, and this can happen to anybody, sometimes the shoes that you wear can actually increase injury. So really figuring out what shoe works for you will help prevent injuries. So this isn't my whole collection of these, but I do have quite the collection. So let me just talk one quick thing about these Nike Marathoners. Let me know in the comments if you know anything about the Nike Marathoners. So these kind of started back in the 70s, I want to say. Very like basic running shoe. I don't know if they make them anymore, but these are just like a classic running shoe. I wore them a few times, but mostly just wanted to have them like as part of like a collection. Nike Marathoners. Anybody have them? Let me know. They're a classic. As you can tell, I didn't run too much in them. They were like just a little bit stiff in the heel, as I remember. I don't want to put them on either, but okay. So 2000, might have been 2009, Nike came out with, it was called the Lunar, oh great, now I forget. Yeah, the Lunar Trainer. They also had the Lunar Racer. I can't find like all my Nikes. But this shoe was like made for my foot. And this is kind of like the updated version. Well, this is still like a decade old, but it was just like made for my foot. It had a wider toe box, completely neutral, low heel to toe ratio. It was sometimes people say Nikes run a little bit narrow. And like I said, I have a wider toe box, but it was like my feet in the Asics kept falling asleep. But Nike, like these were like designed for my feet. I don't know. Let me know if anybody has ever tried the Nike Lunar Trainer, which maybe you haven't, because literally they were only out for 2 years and then Nike decided to discontinue them. And I think the conspiracy was that people were getting too many miles out of them. So for example, these guys, Asics, what's it called? Gel Nimbus, I was getting 300 to 400 miles and then they're trash. These guys, less shoe, I was getting 1,000 miles. So back in the day when I was training for marathons, 1,000 miles would be like 3 or 4 months. So instead of going through a pair of shoes like every month, it would be like every 3 or 4 months. So they discontinued them. And in 2010, I went to the Nike outlet store and they were 40% off. And then I had a coupon for 25% and I stocked up and I got 12 pairs, which lasted me a decade. So we have this black pair, and yeah, you can't find these anymore. It's blue. I don't really care what color it was. So these ones I definitely wear out. Kind of like this one doesn't have it, but through the toe, and you can even see the bottoms are worn on the side. What's this one? Yeah, some of these that really busted through, like the sides. You can see here, this is coming through. But yeah, these definitely stocked up and got my money's worth. So here's a funny pair. I wore these to death. Like I literally ripped off the sole of the feet and tried to like make these a barefoot running shoe, but it didn't work. I logged a few miles in them, but like literally this whole sole of the shoe came off. I mean, shoes are just like really kind of like cheaply made, but you just get like your miles out of them. So the Lunar Trainers lasted me a good 10 years. I do actually really miss them. They were just like the perfect shoe. And then they kind of came out, see how much, yeah, I busted through that. Then they came out with like the Lunar Lawn, which was like definitely a different foam material. So like Lunar Glide is a stability version of the Lunar Trainer, but just like it's really not the same at all. So they completely discontinued them. And yeah, so I ran out of shoes just last year. My Nikes ran out. So I moved into the Brooks. I have a friend that works for Brooks, and she gave me, okay, sorry about that. So these are my first pair of Brooks, and I think Brooks is maybe a better ethical company, and they're pretty hard to get sponsorship, but I would represent them just because, you know, these are the shoes that are actually like working for me, and I'm just like really hesitant about using new shoes because I don't want to get injured. So I'm going to be sticking with these. Hopefully they don't discontinue these. Anyway, so these are kind of like, let's see, they might be about the same weight, but they're not like super minimal shoes. They still have some beef to them. So these are the Brooks Launch. So look at like this heel to toe ratio compared to the Asics Nimbus. Super cushioned shoe, and this is kind of more of a minimal version. See, like this is just like so much shoe, you know? Like I need something more simple. So these are the first pair I wore. I think I have a good maybe 500 miles logged in these or so. Most recommend 200 to 300. Yeah, most people are a big fan of Brooks. I think they're a great company, and marketing is just great. But anyway, I'm just kidding. Anyway, so they're neutral shoe. They don't have the gray foam in the middle. The Adrenalines are a version of a Brooks stability shoe. And then if you go on the high end, you have the Beast or the Ariel, which are like super stability shoes. They're like blocks. Anybody running the Beast? Brooks Beast? So like I said, minimal running shoe gal. And anyway, so Brooks Launch. Yeah, so I was wearing through the back, once again, wearing through the back of the heel, if you can see. Anybody? Oh, good. You got 600 on your, what kind of Hoka? So I've never tried the Hoka brand. But still, I feel like Brooks, these are just like heavy. They're not like minimal shoe. So I tried the Hyperon Tempo of the Brooks. A lot lighter weight. Look at the heel to toe ratio. I mean, the reason why I wanted to try these is because I thought they could be very similar to the Lunar Trainer. Yeah, I mean, it's like, these are like my love, you know, like they're the best shoes out there. So I thought, you know, that could be similar. However, I don't know, it's just like, it does something weird on the top of my foot, and I'm kind of hesitant in running into them all the time. Like I said, I don't, like, shoes are very important. They could create injuries. And I explained before, I've had an injury created by a shoe because I was wearing stability shoes and didn't need it. So, okay, so Brooks Launch is what I wear in. Okay, and then these exact same thing, Brooks Launch. And then I've just actually recently noticed, because the first thing I noticed is like, oh, this doesn't seem very, like, I kind of feel the road more when I run, and I feel a little bit more impact in my knees when I'm running. So I'm like, oh, let's see, when did I get these shoes? So these shoes I got April 17th. I just looked it up yesterday. I'm probably at like almost 600 miles in these guys. So I just ordered another pair, exactly the same, nothing to like really show. But it's better to order, you know, order something. Maybe I'll get 2 more weeks out of these and have those guys waiting for me. But the first thing, you know, I always kind of like wear the back. I wear the back in a little bit. And yeah, my left heel, once again, a little bit here. Yeah, so my heel left has always kind of been wearing on the side. And you can also tell, you know, like maybe hip strengthening would help if you're like wearing too much here. Okay, I think that's all the shoes that I have. Shucks. Let's see, any questions, let me know. Somebody asked a question about, where is that? Somebody asked the question if I wear the same shoes running. So if you do like marathon train and you run a lot, meaning 40 miles a week and up, I would recommend having 2 separate pairs of shoes. I guess I kind of do. Like I still wear the Tempos and I have the Launch. So these are kind of a lighter weight road racing shoe, I guess. So what you could do is run these training runs, running these for like speed workouts. Or if you're just kind of like a runner, not training for anything, but you still put in the miles, you could get like 2 of the same pairs of shoes and alternate them. So this kind of helps the shoe last longer, I guess. I don't know, that's what people say at the running store. Maybe they're just trying to get more of your money. But, you know, I think the big thing is like if it's raining, you don't want to put on wet shoes the next day. But one thing you could like today's raining. If I run in the rain today, you know, you could stuff it with newspaper or paper towels or a towel or something, and that'll help like dry it for the next day. So, I mean, you don't have to be over the top. You don't need 2 pairs of shoes. And I always put my right shoe on first and then the left. Nobody asked that question, but I thought you wanted to know. And, okay, so... Okay, any questions about the running shoes? Thank you for taking a trip down memory lane. Let's see. What's a newspaper? That is a philosophical question I don't know if I can get into on this live, but you could use a paper towel or a towel, a t-shirt, just anything that you can like stuff in your shoe, and this will help soak up the like rain. Oh, it was a joke. Okay. Okay, another tip. So this is so like let's say you come back from a run, your shoes are all laced up and you're taking your shoe off. The worst thing you can do is not unlace your shoe. You're just like slipping it off. Like I already have wear in the heel, but it's good anytime you take off your shoe, really loosen up the laces like this and then take your foot out. Because otherwise, if you're slipping your foot out or even like in and it's not unlaced, you're really stretching out the outside of the shoe. And over time, like this is going to be too wide. You could have Achilles pain. You could have heel pain, whatever else. So you're welcome for running every day. Please talk about running socks. Okay. So these are the running socks, Bombas. Not sponsored. But my loving boyfriend got me some Bombas. And on that note, I just wanted to conclude this live. Any questions about running shoes, you can, ask me, I guess. Okay, so I found my boyfriend found the best hair ties in the world, Gimme Beauty. And they sent me this, hey Carls. They sent me this pack of hair ties, but I'm wearing one right now. So he said he Googled the best hair ties and this is what came up. But I really wanted to share these with you because I've been wearing them every day for the past, 3 weeks. But they really are the best hair ties. And they gave me 15% off. So Daily Run with ZA 15. If you go to their website, I'll put a story up after this. But like, they are the best hair ties. Like they don't have the metal thing. Like look how stretchy that is. A lot of times hair ties just kind of like sit loosely on your wrist. So check these out. Load them up on your wrist. This one's pretty thick, but anyway. So, a whole pack will last you quite some time unless you lose them. But these are the best. They really are the best hair ties. And like my hair is tied up right now, as you can see, and it's like secure. I will do a tutorial on my signature braid, but look how perfect that hair tie is. So I'm just gonna load these up. You never know when you need a hair tie. Ow. All right, well, any other questions about that? Ouch. Anyway, like I said, I worked at a running store for a good few, thanks Carly, a good few years, circa 2010. So, the running shoe industry has definitely changed. But for the most part, I'm a believer in a neutral, minimal shoe. And then throughout the day, trying to be barefoot or wearing like tennis shoes. I don't think it's good on your feet to be wearing like shoes, boots, heels, that kind of stuff. I'm not a fashionista. Anyway, so like I said, I'll put these hair ties on a story if you want to check them out, but they literally are the best hair ties, and I don't think I'm going to wear anything else besides these babies. So I hope you enjoyed. And somebody asked, do I ever walk sometimes if I'm sick? I'm not sure what that means, I guess. So if I'm sick, I still go out and do my run. I probably don't walk because that's just like extra work. I just do my run and then I like lie down. So thanks for checking out, going down memory lane with all my shoes. And like I said, I have more, someplace I have more shoes because I know there's more Lunar trainers. I probably have a good 20 pairs of those. But if anybody needs a suggestion, just like a basic shoe, Brooks Launch. I haven't been injured from these at all, and because of that, I'll continue to run in them. Not sponsored, but it would be nice to have, free shoes. Anyway, great job running, everybody. And somebody asked, do I ever consider running a marathon? I ran 4 marathons from 2008 to 2010, and I'm officially a retired marathon runner. I included Boston. 3:17 was my PR, and I'm good. Not ever doing a marathon again. It's a lot of miles, and currently I'm just gonna run to enjoy it and not kind of like it just kind of became my life, and I think I've learned my lesson, and I'm moving on and just running 3 or so miles every day. So thanks so much for joining, and I'll keep this on the IGTV if you want to go back, and happy running.